Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 58 of the Dear Herbalist podcast titled, Are You Building Disease? Now, I know some people might look at this title and think, oh, what do you mean? Disease is just something that happened to me. Or, I eat clean, I work out 3 days a week, I'm perfectly healthy. I don't know how I contracted intersect disease, right? Well, contrary to popular belief, disease is not something that just happens out of nowhere. And let me just tell you that I am here to tell you that not only do I believe that disease is a result of our actions, but it is also built over a period of time. So let's quickly look at, because you guys know I'm a herbalist educator, I believe in education, it's very important. So let's look at the word dis-ease. Now, the etymology of the word disease is lack of ease. That is the original origin of the word. In herbal medicine, we typically say imbalance, where the body is out of balance, but we don't use the word disease. The dictionary definition of disease is a disorder of structure or function in a human, animal, or plant, especially one that has a known cause and a distinctive group of symptoms, signs, or anatomical changes. So walk with me here. Let's look at some statistics. Did you know that according to the World Health Organization, WHO, as of 2005, over 61% of deaths worldwide, that's about 35 million, were attributed to chronic diseases or NCDs, which is also known as non-communicable diseases, right? Or lifestyle diseases. That's typically what they call those. All right? Did you know that? Over 61% of all deaths were attributed to these types, or these categories of diseases. Now let's look at some of these quote unquote lifestyle diseases. Cardiovascular diseases, which includes heart attacks and strokes. Cancer, chronic respiratory diseases such as chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, right? Asthma, diabetes, mental health conditions. So translation, we have something to do with our health. Now, I know that this is not a, popular opinion to have, but typically facts rarely are, right? Now, let's look at traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine. What do they say are the causes of dis-ease? Okay, if you hear me separate the words, it's because I want you in your mind to remember that the word disease or dis-ease is a lack of ease. It's not some, mystical word or some very complicated word. It simply means a lack of ease. So with traditional Chinese medicine, okay, it believes that the causes of dis-ease is an imbalance in the yin and yang. So there's either an excess of something or a deficiency of something, okay? And this can lead to dis-ease. They also believe in stagnation. So there's some sort of blockages in the flow of energy or blood that can cause pain or dysfunction in your organs. Now, the external factors that, typically can cause dis-ease, there could be wind, cold, heat, dampness, dryness, fire. These things can invade the body as well and disrupt its internal harmony, or its external harmony, I should say. Internal factors. Emotional states such as anger, joy, worry, and fear can affect organ function as well as lead to illness. Lifestyle choices also, such as poor diet, lack of exercise, and inadequate rest, can also contribute to imbalances according to the traditional Chinese medicine philosophy. Now, let's look at Ayurveda. Ayurveda, all right, which is traditional Indian medicine, right? The definition of disease is a state of imbalance in the body's three primary life forces, or as they call them, doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Now, health is seen as a harmonious balance of these doshas along with the mind and the spirit. So, they look at the causes of disease as one, the imbalance of the doshas. So they feel that each dosha governs specific physiological functions. An imbalance can lead to various physical and mental health issues. They also believe the cause of dis-ease is a weak digestive system, which can lead to the accumulation of toxins in the body, which also contribute to disease. They also attribute seasonal changes, climate, geographical conditions. All of these can affect your dosha balance. Another cause is improper diet, lack of exercise, stress. All of these can disturb your balance. And then psychological factors. So mental and emotional stress can disrupt the harmony between the body and the mind, which will lead to physical manifestations of dis-ease. So based on ancient systems of medicine, dis-ease occurs in the body when it is out of balance. The body is out of balance as a result of us, either whatever we're taking in, physical or mental. So the thought that we build dis-ease, right? If we look at the factors that cause dis-ease, right? And we look at a lot of these factors that I named to you, we have to an extent control over it. We have control over whether we are eating right or we're exercising, stress that may come in and out of our lives, how we address stress, how we manage it, right? And so a person that thinks of the causes of dis-ease in a way where it's like, I'm causing this, right? Allows that person to take some personal responsibility in their condition, and they take an even bigger role in actually addressing the problem. You hear me talk about disease is built. Where did I get it from? How is it actually built? Well, let's look at the process. Okay, we're going to go through the process. You guys know how I am. Hopefully you're not driving. If you are, catch me on the replay. I need you to take notes. Use this information for yourself, for your clients, for your family. This is some very great information. So let's get into the process. Now, according to Dr. John H. Tilden, he was a pioneering physician, medical doctor, who developed a book titled Toxemia Explained. And in this book, Toxemia Explained, he speaks about toxemia. And of course, let me put a side note in there really quick. If you want to get this book, you can get it for free in PDF format simply by Googling it. Again, the book is called Toxemia, Toxemia, Explained. And it's by Dr. John H. as in Henry Tilden. Okay. And you can get this book for free simply by Googling it if you don't want to wait for the hardback or whatever. But I definitely, if you're an herbalist, recommend that you get this book in your arsenal. It's not expensive if you buy it, but if you just want it now and want to read it and see if it's worth buying it to you, especially if you're a researcher, then feel free to look at it online while it's still there. All right. Now, this book that he has written has challenged the conventional medical practices of his day. So he believed that all diseases stemmed from one single cause, and that is the accumulations of toxins in the body due to poor lifestyle choices and impaired elimination. Now, Dr. Tilden advocated for natural healing methods, emphasizing proper nutrition, fasting, and lifestyle changes to restore your health. He also established the Tilden School for Teaching Health to spread his revolutionary ideas about wellness and disease prevention. I've read his book a few times, and I like how he breaks down the disease process. So we're going to go through the disease process as he has said it, and I'll give you some examples of what goes on at each stage, just to give you an idea. First of all, maybe find yourself here, But second of all, if you have clients, you can kind of see, all right, you're at this stage, and this is probably what we need to do to address that. So I'm going to give you the stages. I'm not going to say particular details on what you need to do. We can talk about that in another podcast, because I try to keep my podcast, I don't want to say short, but the information that I try to give you is a lot of meat. So I want to give you some time to digest that aspect of it, rather than giving you the information and the results or what you can do about it all in the same podcast. So hopefully you don't mind that. If you do, I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. All right, so let's look at the stages of the disease process as he states. The first stage is toxemia. Okay, and we already talked about toxin accumulation. So the first stage is toxemia, the initial state of toxin accumulation in the body. Now, the first stage is toxemia. Toxemia is the initial state of toxin accumulation in the body. So at this stage, we are accumulating toxins in the body. Okay. Now, toxins can be pesticides. It could, if we're eating, right? Glyphosate, a common pesticide, processed food with artificial additives, mercury in certain fish, endocrine disruptors, colorants, mycotoxins from mold in food, formaldehyde, and formaldehyde generating substances. You're talking about chemical contaminants in your drinking water, toxins from inadequately disposed chemicals leaking into our water sources. You're talking about microplastics in the water, especially if you're doing bottled water. You want to look at toxins in personal care products, formaldehyde in cosmetics, phthalates in fragrances, parabens in skincare products, heavy metals in certain cosmetics. You look at household items, you're talking about flame retardants in furniture and electronics, volatile organic compounds in paints and finishes, chemicals in cleaning products, air fresheners and scented candles, environmental sources, you're talking about air pollution, smog, industrial emissions, asbestos in older buildings, lead in older paint, and pipes. You're talking about electromagnetic frequencies from electronics and Wi-Fi. You're talking about industrial chemicals, solvents, heavy metals, certain medications, dental fillings that contain mercury. And that ain't the tip of the iceberg, people. Okay? During this first stage, you are accumulating all these things. And for those people out there that like to say, well, no, like I said before, I exercise, I eat right, I'm the healthiest as a bird. I don't know how I got cancer. I don't know how I got this disease or this disorder. I don't know. I run, I do all this stuff. Okay? But do you know where your food really is coming from? Do you know that, the container where you're putting your water in, where does that come from? But what's in your water? What's in the air that you breathe? What about your heart and your mind? Are you harboring bitterness and unforgiveness secretly for your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your cousins, whoever, right? What about the air that you breathe and where you live? What about where you work? You had that certain illness and you had those certain medications. What were the side effects of those? What did that open you to? How many, fillings do you have in your mouth that have mercury? So when you say you eat clean and you're healthy, what about what you put in your body? What about what you put on your body? How pure is the food and the beauty products that you are using? I'm just here to make you think. Let's move on to the second stage, okay? Second stage is what he calls innervation. All right? And this is simply the lowering of nerve energy, which reduces your body's ability to actually eliminate the toxins. Innervation, as described by Dr. Tilden, refers to a state of decreased vital energy or exhaustion in the body, particularly affecting the nervous system. Okay? This is when you have excited yourselves to death. You are exhausted. The body does not have the nerve energy, okay, which is exhaustion in the body. And this does affect your nervous system. So this state of lowered nerve energy actually impairs your body's natural detoxification processes, which leads to a reduced ability to eliminate the waste products as well as the toxins in your body. And from that, it contributes to the accumulation of toxemia and sets the stage for further health complications. So in other words, okay, if you don't have the energy that the body needs in order to be able to detoxify the body naturally, what happens is it either slows down or it stops the body's ability to get rid of these waste products. And if that happens, rather than getting rid of the waste products, what happens? They start to accumulate in the body, in the blood, in the gastrointestinal system, in your breasts, in your kidneys, in your lung. If these things cannot be eliminated as fast as they are being accumulated, then you are going to be in trouble. Okay? So at the second stage, this is innervation. This right here sets the stage for further health complications. So now you're building. Let's move on to the third stage. The third stage is constitutional impairment. And this is the overall weakening of the body systems due to ongoing toxemia. So from stage 2, you're still accumulating toxins even in stage 3. Now, during this stage, the body experiences fatigue, weakness, which can attribute to the accumulations of toxins that impair or even hinder the body's systems. The continuous presence of these toxins lead to a decline in overall health, which affects your energy levels, how your immune system functions, and the ability to detoxify efficiently, thereby manifesting as a generalized state of constitutional disorder. So let me give you some of those constitutional disorders. Chronic fatigue, weak immune function, digestive disorders, impaired detoxification ability, hormonal imbalances, decreased mental clarity, reduced physical stamina, and slow wound healing. These all tend to occur at this third stage. And it's not just these, it's more, but I wanted to give you a general idea of at this third stage, this is kind of what you might see. Now, the fourth stage, he talked about lowered resistance. So this is where the body becomes more susceptible to the outside influences as well as internal dysfunction. So lowered resistance refers to a state in which the body becomes more vulnerable to diseases and health issues due to prolonged exposure to stressors or toxins. So for example, people that have chronic stress may experience a weakened immune system, making them more susceptible to infections such as common colds or flus, because their body doesn't have the necessary resources to effectively combat whatever pathogen, okay, and pathogen is a disease-causing organism by mere definition. But whatever is causing the imbalance in the body cannot effectively address it because the resistance is low due to the buildup of toxins, right? And by stage 4, again, you're still accumulating, but that, you're stacking Legos at this point. Put the next Lego on top. The accumulation is still going of toxins. It has not reduced. So then we move on to the 5th stage. You still have toxins accumulating in the body. The body cannot, eliminate the toxins as fast as you are taking them in, okay, through the mouth, through the skin, or wherever. So the next stage he defines as crisis or explosions. What we commonly call diseases are the body's attempts to eliminate these toxins. An example of crisis or explosions, as described by Dr. Tilden, can be seen in many acute infections such as the flu. In this scenario, the body responds to the invasion of the flu virus by mounting a serious attack through your immune system. Okay? And as it's doing that, trying to attack this, what manifests from this attack is symptoms such as your fever, chills, and muscle ache. This acute reaction is the body's attempt to eliminate the viral toxins and restore you back to health. And all this is illustrating how what we commonly refer to as a dis-ease is actually a crisis aimed at detoxifying the body and pursuing healing. Let's move on to the 5th stage. Still building toxins. The body's trying, but you keep eating junk or you keep putting it on your skin. Things are building. So we move on to the 6th stage. This is the chronic disease state. Now, we'll say this. In his book, he doesn't put timelines on things, okay? Because I know timelines depend on so many other factors, where you are at right now individually in your body, what toxins you have stored up based on what you've eaten or drank or what you've thought, what you put on your skin. It just varies for different people. So he didn't give timelines, right? So with the 6th stage, this is 2 years from now or 10 years from now. He didn't really say that. He just said it in stages. So the 6th stage, chronic disease state. Now, if toxemia persists, okay, and like I said, toxemia is toxins in the body, it leads to ongoing health issues. An example of this would be, an example of a chronic disease state resulting from persistent toxemia could be type 2 diabetes. In this case, prolonged toxemia, okay, of which Dr. Tilden attributed to a poor diet, lifestyle factors, as well as your body not able to eliminate the toxins, right? All of this leads to ongoing metabolic dysfunction. So over time, for somebody with type 2 diabetes, what this means is it results in insulin resistance and impaired glucose regulation. And this will manifest, if that happens in your body, then what will manifest as a result of that is type 2 diabetes, or what is called type 2 diabetes. This condition represents a chronic state where the body's ability to manage blood sugar levels. This condition represents a chronic state where the body's ability to manage blood sugar levels is persistently compromised. And this can lead to various long-term health complications if it is not addressed. Now, let's say you don't address it. Let's say you continue on down this row of accumulation of toxins. The next stage, which is the 7th stage, is called degeneration. Continued toxemia causes cellular degeneration as well as tissue breakdown. Now, degeneration in the context of Dr. Tilden's theory refers to the gradual deterioration of cells and tissues due to the persistent presence of toxins in the body. So this ongoing cellular damage disrupts normal physiological functions, which is how the body functions, leading to weakened organs and systems, which can ultimately result in chronic health issues and increased vulnerabilities to disorder or dis-ease. So let me give you some examples of dis-eases that can manifest at the 7th stage, which is degeneration. Now keep in mind, in this stage, dis-eases occur because the toxins are still accumulating faster than the body can get rid of them. I can't stress that enough. So let's look at them. Rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis is a chronic inflammatory disorder affecting the joints. This leads to tissue degeneration and breakdown in the synovial membranes as well as the cartilage. The next one is scleroderma, a connective tissue disorder characterized by the hardening and tightening of the skin and internal organs resulting from tissue degeneration. Now, really quickly, I want to say, because this thought just popped up into my head, as an herbalist, okay, when we are looking at these medical terms, you have to make sure that you really understand the definition of the term. Don't just so much focus on the word. It's important, but what is actually happening with this particular disorder? Any type of dis-ease or disorder that you may study or read about, make sure you understand what exactly it is doing. It is very important to know that so that you can find remedies and things like that to address it. There we go. I just wanted to say that really, really quickly. The next degenerative disorder is lupus, an autoimmune disease that can cause inflammation and tissue damage in various parts of the body, including skin, joints, and organs. Next one is chronic kidney disease. This is a progressive loss of your kidney function over time, with stages 4 and 5 representing severe tissue degeneration and breakdown in the kidneys. Now, I am seeing a huge uptick in disorders and things like that with kidneys. So if you have clients that are having issues with kidneys, please get some protocols in place ASAP to help them with their kidneys. We really need to work to try to help people minimize having to have all these other alternative measures to filter the blood. And I think y'all know what I'm talking about. I have to be careful sometimes what I say, even though I don't like that, but it is what it is. You know what I'm talking about. If you don't, email me. But we want to try to minimize, because these things, you know, it's not sustainable over time. It does more damage than help. And it doesn't, in my opinion, give people a good quality of life, especially the people that I have seen on it. And then you have a lot of people that eventually, no matter what, have to get a transplant. And then they're on medication for the rest of their life because their body is going to fight the transplanted kidney because it sees it as foreign and not as self. So those lifelong medications that they're going to have to be on because they only have one kidney, what is that doing to the body? What is that doing to them? So if you have a client that comes to you with chronic kidney disease or kidney disorder, imbalance of any kind, please do everything you can to put in a solid protocol for them. All right, the next degenerative disorder or dis-ease is called the degenerative disc disease. Say that 15,000 times. Now, this is a condition where the intervertebral disc in the spine break down, leading to pain as well as reduced mobility. And obviously the pain is there because there's nerve endings in there. And the nerve endings, your nerves of the body, is like your body's electrical system. If there's a chink in the chain or there's a chink in the electrical system, communication can't get to where it needs to tell the body what it needs to do. And as a result of that, you have not only pain, but the signals to your legs or to your hip or whatever to walk, to move, to stop, it can't get there. Again, all from toxemia. Next is the neurodegenerative disorder. So conditions like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, okay, this is where there's progressive degeneration of your nerve cells and tissues in the brain. Next degenerative disorder is diabetes, okay, particularly type 2 diabetes, which can be linked to lifestyle factors. Okay. And this can contribute to toxin accumulation. And I talked a little bit about Alzheimer's disease. So again, this disorder can be influenced by chronic toxin exposure as well as your cells degenerating. That is stage 7. Now, the 8th and final stage in Dr. Tilden's disease progression is where cellular degeneration has advanced to the point of abnormal growth and malignancy. I mean, it's kind of gone all over the place, right? Which is what we know and call as cancer. Okay. And so he talked about 3 terms that illustrate the progression of cancerous growth, where normal tissue undergoes significant changes, leading to the formation of sores, hardening areas, and abnormal protruding masses. These words are ulceration, induration, and fungation. So ulceration refers to the formation of ulcers, which are open sores or lesions on the surface of your tissues. In the context of cancer, it indicates that the tissue has actually broken down, leading to a loss of integrity and appearance of a sore. Then next is induration. So this term describes the hardening of your tissue. So now you have a sore, now you have the hardening of the tissue. And in cancer, it often refers to the thickening or stiffening of the affected area due to the abnormal growth of cells, which can make the tissue feel more firm or hard to the touch. And then the third and final step of that is fungation. This term is used to describe a growth that resembles a fungus, often associated with a tumor that has become raised and irregular in shape. Fungating tumors can appear as large or protruding masses that may bleed or ooze, indicating aggressive growth and invasion of surrounding tissues. So again, I ask you, are you building disease? Can you find yourself or your clients in any of these stages? If so, let me tell you this, there is hope, and at each stage of the issue, it can be addressed. In Dr. Tilden's book, he explains how to do so. And so I encourage you to grab a copy of this book and complete your own research on this subject. His book is very short. It's a very short book. It almost could be a pamphlet. It's not a long read at all, but it's an important book. And to be honest with you, in my research, a lot of the books that I've gained the most from have literally been no more than like 80 pages. I have textbooks. I have anatomy books. I have all these thick books. But a lot of these short little pamphlets and stuff like that they used to write back in the day, love them because they get straight to the point. And you can tell that they desire to make sure that you understand the process and what's going on. They're not trying to put all this intellectual language, even from these writers of old that were doctors. They write it in very simple to understand language because they want you to get it. They're not trying to pump their chest up. And if you read a lot about their life, it's like, yeah, I went the medical way, but now I'm going this way, and now I'm here to teach people. And there's a humility that sets the tone of their writing. So I want to encourage you to there, and there's several others, and I'll do some book reviews and talk about some of the other books that I have in my arsenal as well. Couldn't let a podcast go by without talking about Dr. Tilden's book, but I encourage you to grab a copy, complete your own research, all right? And if you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on all my social media platforms at The Demystified Herbalist. And until next time, family, I'm out.